Hello everyone, and welcome to the RV Inspection and Care channel. I'm Dwayne and I'm a certified RV inspector. And today we're going to continue in this two-part series of videos discussing the differences, the pros and the cons, between diesel-powered RVs and gas-powered RVs. Now if you missed the first video on diesel pushers, please be sure to check that out on my channel because I cover both the pros and cons of diesel-powered RVs. But in this video today, we're going to talk about the other end of the spectrum, and that's gas-powered RVs, or what we call gassers. Now let's get started right away and get into the pros and the cons of gas RVs. Starting with the pros, and I've got my trusty dusty list here that's helping me keep everything in mind so that I don't miss anything for you. And the first pro about gas-powered RVs is they're less expensive to buy, and that doesn't matter whether they're new or whether they are used. Especially new though, because if you go check out the prices on a gas RV brand new and then compare that with a diesel pusher that's sort of in the same size and so on, you're going to find the diesel pusher is quite a bit more expensive than the gas-powered RV, and that continues as you go, as they get older. In fact, the simple truth is you're probably going to be able to buy a much newer gas-powered RV than you will a diesel-powered RV if it's used. You'll get a newer year. Now, the second point here on my list is that gas-powered RVs are less expensive to maintain and to repair overall. And that's because all those extras that come with diesel pushers, all that gingerbread, you know, the luxury items and all of that, they're wonderful, but they cost more to maintain and to repair. So a gas-powered RV will be more economical in most cases. You also have access to a lot more repair facilities with a gas-powered RV than you do a diesel-powered RV. Simple truth is there's an awful lot more mechanics that can work on gas-powered engines than there are diesel mechanics. There's a lot more facilities for caring for gas engines than for diesel engines. So if you need a repair to be done, and you need it to be done quickly, and I mean, who of us doesn't really want it done right away? Well, you may have to wait with diesel pushers. You may have to wait with gas-powered RVs too, but usually you can find a facility that will get it done quicker than diesel pushers. Now, here's the other interesting point about working on diesel-powered engines. Or gas-powered engines, I'm sorry. If you are a mechanic and you kind of know your way around gas engines, well, you can probably do the work on your own RV then, because it's essentially the same engine, it's just bigger. So you could save a lot of money if you know your way around repairing gas engines by having a gas-powered RV. Another pro is that gas-powered RVs are usually not as long as diesel pushers. Now that may sound like that's a con, but in many cases it's not. Because it's a shorter RV, you can get in and out of campgrounds, in and out of campsites, and into and out of boondocking spots a lot easier than you can with those big old diesel pushers. So that's something to keep in mind. And by the way, a very related point that goes with that, and I know this firsthand myself, is getting in and out of fuel stations is so much easier with a shorter RV, like a gas-powered RV, than a 40-foot diesel pusher. In fact, a couple of times when I first got my diesel pusher, I got into some pretty tight spots there, and I honestly a couple of times didn't know if I was going to get out of it. And so with diesel pushers, you pretty much are limited to truck stops and large fuel stations, whereas with gas-powered RVs, you have a little bit more choice to choose from. Finally, gas is cheaper than diesel. And so over the long haul, you're going to definitely save money on fuel costs with a gas-powered RV. Well, those are the pros that I have. Now let's get started on the cons. And the very number one point on the list of cons for RV gas engines is that they do not have as many luxury features built into the RV as diesel pushers. So if you're looking for luxury, you're a glamper, well, you may want to go with the diesel-powered RV. Now, that doesn't say that gas-powered RVs don't have some nice features in them, because they really do. But if you want it maxed out, well, you're going to probably need to go with the diesel pusher. Also, with a gas-powered RV, the engine noise and the heat up in the cockpit while you're driving is greater than a diesel pusher, and that's very obvious because a diesel engine is way back in the back. The gas-powered engine is right there by you. Now, in newer RVs, they've kind of solved more of those issues. It's not nearly as much of a problem, but if you get an older gasser, well, you will probably get quite a bit of noise coming out of that engine and some heat as well, and in the summertime that can be an issue. Also, gas-powered RVs, the engine does not last nearly as long as a diesel pusher before it needs to be rebuilt. Generally speaking, gas engines are going to go about 100,000 miles in RVs, maybe a little bit more, before they need to be rebuilt. That's not a rule, it's just a generalization. Now, diesel engines, well, they could go 500,000 to 1,000,000 miles. And so that's just something to keep in mind. As RVers, we don't generally put a ton of miles on our RVs anyway, just moving in between campsites. So you have to decide whether that's an issue for you or not. Also, gassers do not retain their value as much as diesel pushers do. All those luxury features, well, that helps those coaches keep their value. It's just something to remember. Also, less storage capacity will be found in most gas-powered RVs. Those diesel engines, that's the thing about them, is that they handle weight really well. See, that's why truckers use diesel engines. When's the last time you saw a semi-truck with a gas engine in it? They have diesel engines because diesel engines get the weight up and moving and can move it well going down the highway. So as a result of that, if you have a gas-powered RV, you're going to have more storage in the RV in most cases. Generally speaking, you will find that in a gas-powered RV, you may have as little as 1,000 pounds of storage, period. But generally they run between 1,000 to 2,000, maybe 2,500 pounds of storage. But in a diesel pusher, very often you're looking at 3,000 to 5,000 pounds of storage. So if storage is a big thing for you, you want to take that into consideration. Finally, a con on RV gas engines is that they cannot handle great tow capacity. I mean, they're limited up to about 5,000 pounds, generally speaking. So the heavier vehicles, towing heavier vehicles, is going to be a little beyond their capability. Once again, that falls in the range of diesel pushers. Now, all of these pros and cons that I've listed, you really need to sift through it all, because one thing I want to make clear about the comparison between diesel-powered RVs and gas-powered RVs is either one will get you where you want to go. They will take you on your RVing adventures, and you will have fun and you will enjoy them, and it doesn't matter really that much between the two. What it really comes down to is you need to consider the pros and the cons that I've discussed in these videos, and then weigh that against your circumstances and your needs and wants. Whatever decision you make will be fine, because that RV will get you where you want to go and do it in a way that's really enjoyable. Well, I hope you enjoyed this series, this discussion about the big controversy, diesel versus gas-powered RVs. And if you did enjoy the video series, please like them. That's a big help to us. I'd also like to extend the invitation, please subscribe to our channel. I put out videos like this every week, and we would love to have you as part of our online RVing family. So please subscribe. And nobody knows everything about RVing, and certainly I don't. So if you found that there were some things you didn't agree with, or you found that there were some other suggestions you would like to make about this controversy and the comparisons between diesels and gas-powered RVs, please mention that in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Well, that's it for now. Have safe and happy travels, my friends. Until next time.